I've always been a fan of radio. Growing up in Chicago, the big top 40 station was WLS. Everybody listened to WLS. A lot of people growing up with little transistor radios, a little 9-volt battery in there. You stick it underneath under your pillow so you can listen overnight. And I'd listen to WLS and WIND. Eddie Schwartz, he had a nighttime program, would listen to that. Well, there was a night where I didn't have a battery for my radio. Battery was dead. I found this radio in our laundry room that plugged in the wall, and I stuck that under the pillow. But it was a tube radio, and tubes generate heat. So after being under my pillow most of the night, the radio was all kind of melted together, and it nearly burned the house down because of it. But that was just because of my love for radio. There were some days where I would cut class going to high school. I would, instead of getting off at Addison, I would just continue on downtown, and I'd go over to the Stone Container Building and watch Larry Lujak or Tommy Edwards do their radio show through the window at WLS, 5th floor, Stone Container Building, Studio A. It's a great site. That was something I wanted to do, but never really had the will to actually go and do it. I had looked at myself and said, what am I going to be doing 5 years from now? And when the answer was, I'm going to be driving a truck delivering dog food in Flint, Michigan, no, I was not happy with that answer. So that's when I made that decision. I went to a little school, the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. I went there to get into radio and learned nothing at the school. Not to say it was a bad school. I just didn't learn anything there. But being enrolled in that school, I was able to get an internship at one of the big rock stations in Chicago, WLUP. But I was able to do that work on the weekends while honing what I felt I needed to do, which would eventually got me my first paid job in Champaign. John Wood and Connecticut School of Broadcasting, two completely different. Connecticut School of Broadcasting is more of a, okay, we're going to teach you how to do this, and that's it. John Wood is it's a college. You're going to get a education, not just in your chosen field, but it's going to broaden your spectrum. After spending about 16 years in radio, I left for a short time. I said, you know what? I'm going to see what else there is out there. So now I'm sitting overqualified and undereducated for everything. About 43 years old, and I couldn't get any of the higher paying jobs because I had no education, and the lower paying jobs nobody would hire me because no, you're just going to leave in 2 months. You've got way too much experience. I ended up getting hired back at the same radio station I had left to do radio sales. But I did well because I'm a big fan of the business. I'm passionate about radio. After a couple of months, the chief engineer invited me to a meeting of the Society of Broadcast Engineers. To some extent, I had wanted to do that kind of work, but I needed the push to get into it. Always the jock with the soldering iron in his desk drawer. I could either wait for the contract engineer to come in and fix it, or, you know what, I'm just going to fix it myself, get it done, and move on. So after attending this meeting, I says, you know what? I need to do this. Trying to find the right education to progress in this field. I looked into John Wood, and John Wood Community College had an associate's program for electrical technology. Because of that degree that I received from John Wood Community College, I was able to get an engineering position at another radio station here in town while still keeping my full-time job. I've been promoted to chief engineer. I'm responsible for keeping the 4 stations here in Quincy on the air. I've also got 3 stations in Sedalia, Missouri that I'm trying to keep on the air. So there's plenty to do there. There's so much that I have not learned in the engineering field of radio and broadcast. I don't think I need to advance anywhere. I'm having fun doing what I'm doing. I was a high school dropout. I didn't finish senior year. Coming to John Wood, having that new drive to want to do better, to want to improve, to want to advance, I was able to graduate summa cum laude. If I had questions, if I had concerns, because I hadn't been in class in so long, they were always willing to step up and help me out. I loved all of my classes. Every one of my instructors were incredible. And I learned a lot. Yeah, no, glad to do it.
Awesome.